Hello YouTube, I am back. Welcome back into my studio. I'm Robin McClendon, mixed media artist. I'm working on the gel plate in book arts, and obviously making a lot of mark making paper with the 𝐍𝐄𝐕𝐄𝐑 inks. And yeah, we have a lot of fun over here. So this year our journey is to go through my, should I say, best-selling book. Thanks to you guys. It's only because of the community effort. We are in our second printing and it's already being distributed. So going lots of new places, but I'm excited. So the next chapter, you know, we've been working through this book and working into this large journal that we have. This one I've made, but I know, you know, you can, as we know, a lot of us just get a large journal, bound journal, and work from that. So this is going to be our fourth session. We're just going to keep on working through this book all year. And this chapter is patchwork. So we're in chapter, let me see, patchwork is in chapter 6. And the reason why we're in the fourth one, but chapter 6, is the first couple chapters we're getting to know your gel plate, and then 1 color backgrounds and 2 color backgrounds. And so we made 1 color and 2 color, sort of Mark Rothko, 1 technique. And then we did the old wall, and then we did the simple etching and masking last week. So now we're on the patchwork. So if you haven't been in with us yet, you're just kind of joining or popping in and seeing if it's something you want to kind of journey with me this year, that's where we are. So this one is patchwork, and it's one of my fave techniques. There's a lot of ways for us to do it, but the idea is to overlap. So in the book, I show it as working on a large plate, putting different colors down, and then laying the sheet down partially over the gel plate, picking it up, and then moving it around. And then that way what you do is you get these different sections of color that then overlaps and looks a lot like this kind of thing. So we're doing this patchwork color thing on the plate, and as opposed to putting a full piece of paper down and then pulling it off fully, we're kind of doing these sections. And so we're going to do a slightly different, because I have been working on the large plate most of for the first 3 pulls, and I know everybody doesn't have that super large plate. And I know you guys have been making, using your other sizes, which is perfectly fine. But for the patchwork, you can also use a small plate. So we can use the 6x6, we can use the 3x5, and we're going to use them together today. But if you only have one or the other, you can use either one. Or also, if you still have a large plate, then you can just brayer part the color on there, and then just, don't fill the whole plate with color. You can just partially do it and then overlay and do this technique. So there's a lot of ways of approaching it, but I thought I would show like this because for those of you who may only have the smaller plates, it doesn't mean that you can't be on this journey, because you could do all the techniques with a smaller plate and then kind of incorporate this patchwork to fill up your whole page. So there's a lot of ways to handle this. You can see my hands are already full of paint because, as always, I flush out my Saturday video techniques with my Patreon community, because I do a lot of printing and, like working through in preparation for Saturday videos. And so I share a lot of that prep and color and working with technique and thinking about color palettes and stuff there. So that's why my hand's already, but I've worked out a color palette that I like. So I'm using this red oxide. I'm using this alizarin madder lake. I'm using a dark gold. I'm using a light gold. I'm using an off-white, and I'm using yellow oxide and silver. So that's the palette. And now remember, with a lot of these, we'll be coming back and we'll be adding things. So right now I'm just putting foundational color down. I don't have really any darks at this point, but I will be. And I think even because I do have my my Payne's Gray. I may actually do some mark making with Payne's Gray. I'm using the plate as opposed to using, like last week we used the plastic wrap. Well, you can do a similar thing with the plate. So we'll play around with that too. Alrighty, so let's get started. So I'm gonna start with this one, and let's start with the yellow oxide. I'm going to show you how we can do this. Like, you don't have to brayer the whole plate. And if you don't do the whole plate, it's kind of cool because we'll get, you'll kind of get this uneven edge. And I'll put just a little bit of red down over in here. Really like the mixture of this. And also, you know, because we're getting this sort of painterly thing. And then we're going to do some etching. Just get that layer going. And if you extend beyond when there's no ink paint there, then what will happen is it will get a line that will extend up. You'll see. So put this down. So I'm going to let that sit in place. And we do want it to sit on the plate a little bit because I want to make sure we get a nice transfer, so then we can go to our next one. And yes, let's use the dark gold. And we're just going to overlap. Now I'm going to put a decent amount on there, more than I normally would. But first of all, this is handmade paper. Oops. So the paper will be able to take it. And I find with this gold, if you kind of pile it on, you get this look of gold leafing. I'm going to do some more etching. So let's take, and I'm going to straddle the page there. Really pressing it down. So working on top too, we can really see that it's making contact nicely. Let me wet my page a little bit too. I do like wetting this paper when I'm working on it. So, there we go. Yum. So see how we get this cool mark that'll extend up like that? Because there was no paint there, so we kind of, in the scribing, we pushed it up. And so you get that really cool thing going there. Now I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to put a little bit more red. I'm going to use the alizarin. And I'm going to use a little bit of white, because I sort of like this sort of pinky color that it's going to make. And I have one of my glue gun masks, and let's see. There's a few ways of doing this. I think what I'm going to do is take some of this off. So I have this menu paper, and I've been using this to kind of off print some of the areas that I don't want to show. But then what's cool about it is that you know, I have this paper that I can also stain and use. So now I'm going to let that dry, because I want that to have a backing on it. So we're going to let that dry. And then let's go ahead and pull this off. Oh, yes. Yum. That's good. So while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and get this light gold. And I still have color on my brayer, so I'm kind of mixing things around. So I'm kind of getting these different color variations. And it's cool to put solid color down too, because then it allows us to come back and put something on top of this. And now the whole idea is to I kind of do cross hatching and what have you, and overlapping, because that's what makes the patchwork really start looking quilty. And it gives this interest to your print. It's pretty cool. Okay, so while that's doing that, let's go ahead and use the light gold. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this over on this side in the upper corner here. And that way we start kind of getting things all over our page, and at the same time, yeah, I'm going to use my string with this Payne's Gray near the end. I think that's what I'm going to do. And that'll give some variation. So I kind of let it sit down there for a little while, you know, so it can make good contact before we pull it up. Oh, that's, oh my goodness, that's really pretty. Nice. Okay, so now here, I think I'm going to use a clear, not a clear, I'm sorry. I'm going to use a light gold because I want to cross hatch it this way, and I want to preserve some of that line. Oops, I don't want it too dark. Just get a nice light layer, which we can kind of cross like this. So we'll let that sit. I'm going to come back over here. If you have two plates, it does make it a lot easier. So now see how we picked up that pattern there, which is really nice. And so I'm going to prepare this to put, maybe I'll cross it right here, this one right here. So let's go and get some of this yellow oxide. Oh, I gotta use my red oxide. That thing, it's so pretty. But we're gonna use some yellow. We'll use a little bit of both. We'll use some yellow oxide, and we're gonna use red oxide. So now here we're mixing techniques, right? So go back to your two color, and then that way, you know, you can load your plate up with color. And in this case, we've got the two color thing working, so I'm going to do it like that. And really press it down. So, you know, any of the previous techniques that we've done, you know, you can bring into play here. Let that sit. Let's pull this off. Okay, yeah, so we've had that line there. Let's get the transparent red oxide now. And I think what we're going to do is let's print over. So this is going to be a nice light layer. And I'm going to script a little something here. Since we have some scripting there, let's kind of bring it back using a different color. We're going to take that and kind of put it, let's overlap it right down in here. So, you know, you can patchwork over the patchwork, because that's where we're going to get these layers built up. Okay, so we'll peel this off. Yes, that's good. So we can also take the brayer, and we can brayer in here. And since that didn't want a brayer, we can also take our paintbrush and let's take some paint off. So while things are still, I think I'm going to use the light gold. So in these creases where we have, you know, some stuff going on, here I have thread and stuff that's trying to work around. You know, we can use our paintbrushes and go in and kind of also paint on this. So there's no, you know, but what I like is how we're starting to get this overlapping, and then that's going to build up. The more we work, the more that's going to build up. So right in here, I'm going to go to a white. Let's just do a white. I'm going to do a thick white, and it's going to pick up some of the stuff that's on this plate. So some of that should come off, but I don't know how much is going to come off because I'm using a thick layer. And generally, when you use thick layers, it doesn't pull everything off the plate. But I just want to kind of get this white going here, just to create this juxtaposition of the white page, but using white paint too. White is always a nice way to break things up. And so let's put that there. Yeah, that's good. So let's get the dark red. Is this? No, this is red oxide. I keep on picking that. Let's pick the... Okay, now there's white on here, so this is going to kind of make it pink. I know I'm working thick. You might, if depending on the weight of your paper, you may not work this thick. For me, it's working because I'm using this really heavy weight you know, handmade paper. So we're going to take some of that off. Let's lift some of it on our other piece that's going to serve us as some nice collage paper. Okay, and there should be enough down there for me just to go ahead and put on top, you know, I'll put it right here. No, I want to layer this on top of something, so let's layer it here. Let me look in the camera because I need to see where, so I want this to be patch, you know, so we wanted to keep on overlaying. You kind of have to, for me, I can look up in my viewfinder for the camera, and it puts it far enough away so I can see. You may want to step up, you know, step away from it and look at it and then come back to it. See how that's really like just a white paint, and I like that a lot. So let's see if we can get a sort of this dark red at the top. Maybe. I know I'm mixing my color. I could roll my brayer off, but I really like the color mixing that I get, so I don't really want to do that. So hopefully I'll get this nice solid red that we can come back and then layer stuff on top of. Okay. That's good. And since I have this red on the brayer, you know, you can work right on here. So let's go ahead and do that because I really want it to, I like that. So we can use our brayer like that for sure. So we kind of just taking it slow and looking at this, figuring out what I want to put down next. I feel like we could put this gold. Let's put the gold right on the paper. And we have a perfect section right here. So let's get some gold down in here. So you see what we're doing. We're just kind of cross-hatching. And, you know, you just kind of want to think in terms of this overlapping thing. So you see how we're really getting this gridding on there, which is really good. So let's pull this one off. Okay, yeah, so how we transferred that pattern. We're getting that pattern build up, which is nice. And let's go ahead and load this with the light gold because I want to put it in this area. Then we can go and do a secondary layer of of marks. And I'm going to the Payne's Gray for that. And we're going to use a string. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. And I just love this as a foundation because, see, even if you kind of did this as a foundation layer, which is what we're basically doing, because this is a way of kind of playing with color palette and the whole idea of, you know, this block printing. But also it becomes a great foundation to come back and either if you wanted to put imagery over it or collage on top of, you know, we have this really good foundation going. And that's what my plans are for this journal, is to kind of do it like that. And I'm going to go right down and put this gold right on top. And I'm working with these solid on purpose so that we have enough solid to come back and put some line on top of. So that's a lot of the white paint there that was on that plate. And so let's see. I think I'm gonna use this plate to do the technique where I want to kind of get line, and I want to use this sort of organic string to make the line on top of this to really add. So I'm gonna use the Payne's Gray. Wow, we love it. And then I can actually, I'm gonna come back with some more gold too, but I'm gonna lift it up so you can sort of see the beauty of that gold. It's just so gorgeous. And then even here with the some of the iridescent silver. Did I use silver? We're going to use some. Okay. Okay, that's good. See how we got that, some more of that patchwork. So just keep patchworking. Now, what I want to do is, I feel like, what do I want to put here? Oh, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to actually stain this when we're done. So some of these white spots I want to leave available for staining. Okay, so now what we want to do is, let me clean my brayer off here. So let's get some Payne's Gray. And let's roll it out. Sort of thickish because I want to make sure that where the string is going to be, that I'm going to have enough wet paint to do some transferring. Because I want to do direct transferring. As soon as I pull it, I want to be able to put it down. So here, you know what, let's use, I'll get a fresh sheet because I kind of like that color palette. So let's go ahead and put this down. We're going to sop up a lot of the paint that's all around that string. Okay. Then we should be able to direct transfer. Let's put that right there for right now. Let's see what we get. And in this case also, what I should have done, which I can still do, is not brayer up the whole thing so it's a square. See how this is a square? What we can also do, as I'll show you on the next pull, is to do a partial. So let's just use this. Let's put some, so I'm not going to go all the way to the top. You know, I want to kind of have it irregular. So let's just kind of get rid of some of the sort of the regular marks there. Put this down. I really like the marks that you get with string. Sort of that line. So if you don't, you know, do it all the way to the corners, then now with this overlay, which I'm going to get some of it here. well, not, well, good, it's not too much, but you see how I've had that square edge? I don't want a lot of that because actually I want this to sort of be an over element now that, oh, that's pretty. It pulled some of the gold and what have you, so that's good stuff. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let that dry, because that's the element I want. So let's let that dry, and in the meantime, I can kind of do some gold over top of this. So let's just do an irregular kind of gold, you know, like we did in the beginning. Don't do the whole thing. And then scribe on it. And then what I'm going to do is I can line this up with the top here to kind of overlap, to kind of hide that straight line that I don't want. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to solve it when you do things that you want to see something different. Now this is good because see, it's really organic. There's not a lot of, so let's do the silver. And here again, even with that, we don't want it to be so let's just take and once again kind of wipe it off. Just make it a little bit more organic. Okay, and that I'm going to put kind of like over this area here where the white was. See what we get. How's the time looking? Okay, so we'll let that sit because I really want that to transfer nicely. And then this, yeah, great. So see how we got that gold, and so now that line just integrates and that works. So I think I'm gonna do something here with the red because I think that's a good area to put this dark red. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not going to make it so let's go ahead and just wipe some of it off just to get rid of these edges, even around the sides like that, because this top layer, you know, we want to start softening the grid. So we have gridding. Let's see if I can get enough movement there. But this is the dark over the light, so this should give us. So we're seeing this gridding, but now when you start putting the marks over the top, I like to try to make the marks on top a little bit more organic. So, and the other thing I think I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna use some white on top of this. So I think I'll use the white, and we'll use the saran wrap that we did last week, because I can really see that on top of this. Okay, yes, so see what that did? That really softened this whole area. Good. Oh yeah, perfect. See how good that is? That's what we want. So let's do another one of those so I can sort of put it over here somewhere. So we're going to use the Payne's Gray. We're not going to just kind of loosely, you can even sort of do it in circles because that'll give a nice organic edge. And then get our string. Okay. And let's get this piece of, see how that actually transferred? That's really pretty. So we're going to be able to, with this paper, what I'll end up doing is coffee staining it or using some kind of ink stain. I don't know if I'm going to do coffee. I have this other color that I wanted to try. This new kind of color I got. So But anyhow, I'll stain it. And then this becomes collage fodder. So the cleaner you get it, so see I still have some left behind there, so put it down again. Because the main thing, you just want to be left with the line from the string. All this extra that's in here, you get a cleaner print when you get rid of it. So like that's this is really pretty there. Okay. Okay, so now that's good and clean. And what we're left behind is that. So now we'll let that dry. And then I'm going to put that like over in here somewhere. Like probably right in this area. I like that. So you see what we're doing here. You could just keep on working on this forever. But I really can see the scripting on top. So let me get my saran wrap, and we're going to use the white, the off-white, and I'm going to put that on top. Okay, so this is nice and dry, so let's go ahead and get that silver again. It really does a nice thing. And here we want a thin layer, and I'm going to brayer off. Sorry for being a little loud there. I want a thin layer. And then let's go back and like, you know, wipe away some of these corners. Just to kind of not have that so, you know. So we don't have that, get that hard edge. Okay. So let's put this down like right, I think like right in that area. So then I'm going to come with the white on top. You know, I'll put some strong gold, maybe right here. I like this really, so if you do this gold really thick so that it really lays a nice coat down. Like I was saying before, it really gives a look of gold leafing. And then let's just go ahead and do some scripting. And then let's put this, let's line it up with this edge there. Okay, put that there. Alrighty. And let this, so let me get my large plate. I'll give a chance for this stuff to really set up to do this off-white. I can just get, I don't have to get the super large one. I can get my, this 8x10. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do my script. I'm going to do the old Europe one that I do. So it goes in a different direction. Cool. That was unexpected, but I like that little splatter right there. That's going to be cool. Okay, so get the tissue. Okay, put that down. Let that make contact. And let's go ahead and pull this up. Oh yeah, great. Got a great mark there. It's kind of hard for you to see because of course the silver, the sheen, but I'll lift it up so you can see. It's nice. And let's take this off. Oh, that's good. That just kind of brings a little harmony to that corner in my eye. So let's lift this up. And now let's just figure out where we're going to put this. Okay. I kind of want to put it right here. Oh, that's good. Get some good contact. Oh, that's good. I think that does a nice balance. Kind of hard to see right now, but oh, that's good. Okay. So there are some ideas while we let this set up on working with the patchwork technique. And then we went back and got some of our scribing, you know, our etching, this sort of mask technique using the saran wrap. And this still is a foundation for me. I still would want to do some other stuff to it, but like right now I would stop and let it rest. But I'm sure as we move through this journal, I'll come back and do some collage paper or, you know, things like that, because I could really see that working nicely. Okay. Oh yeah, that's good. Great. So put this here so it stays. So there we have it. Oh, look at that mark. That line is just so good. So right over top of it all. So that's patchwork, etching, using our saran wrap masks. And oh, we did use the two color, you know, on the plate when we were working with some of these, not just making everything flat one color. I wanted to show you a paper how this paper came out with the same patchwork technique that we did in our book. We did this over in Patreon. Because, you know, a lot of times when I'm working our techniques, you know, I do full printing sessions there where we really just play around with a lot of ideas and, you know, do a lot of stuff. So anyhow, this is on a large sheet of wet strength paper. So it started off white. And then we did all the patchwork on it, and then I stained it with coffee. So, you know, so some of the areas, as opposed to them being stark white, they're more of a creamy color. And then we mommy-gommied it. And look how good this came out. I mean, it's just, see, the back is just plain. But the front is this patchwork technique. And then, you know, of course, when you mommy-gommi it, which is just constantly folding, you could do this as much as you want. So, you know, we did it here in the book, but if you guys wanted to get some of your deli paper out or menu paper or tissue paper and do this technique on the paper and then mommy-gommi it, you just get this beautiful decorative paper. I mean, it looks like we could have gotten this from Blick or somewhere like that. It's just, I mean, it's just really good stuff. You see all of the metallics on there. It's just everywhere you look, you just get these good pieces. And this is great, of course, to collage, uses book covers. I mean, there's so much we can do, but it's just a beautiful decorative paper using this exact same technique that we did here. So I wanted to just come back and show you guys because I had finished up over in Patreon. It was all dry and we finished, and I thought, let me just show you all real quick. So anyhow, if you're new to the channel, please hit the bell so you can get more notifications. For everyone else who's always hangs out with me, you know, I love you all. We're hanging out in Premiere right now. Make sure, please, to hit the bell. To hit the thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you like the video, and it just helps to push it out to grow the community and, you know, have more people find our work and what we're doing here. And I guess that's everything. So have a great time in your studio this week, and so much love to you. And until next week, next Saturday, you guys have a great time. Love you much. Bye-bye.